Yeah, we're gonna cut all that out, that's for sure. Welcome back. Okay, it's been a long weekend already. I took Friday off. We drove to Kansas City. We grabbed my grandson and we took him to his first professional football game. It was my first one too. Anyway, and so we went and watched the Chiefs lose in the last 2 seconds to the Chicago Bears. I know it doesn't count, but it was frustrating to watch them march 87 yards in minute 30 and then score with 2 seconds left on the clock. Very frustrating. Anyway, we had a good time, and everybody had, it was pretty hot. I mean, you know, for Kansas it might have been normal, I guess, but we took the awning, we tailgated, cooked some burgers and brats and stuff. It was fun. We had a good time. And then my son and I drove back yesterday after we played with the boys a little bit in the morning and kind of hung out at their house and had fun. But we had to drive back, so pretty tired today. I know it shouldn't be tired from, you know, a couple of 350-mile drives, but I am, and I don't know why. It was a good time, and I'm glad I did it. So, all right, today, let's get started on some stuff. One of the things I left out, where we did some welding, if you read the blog, you would have saw that I commented on that I'd missed some. Where we did the welding in the footwell, when we heated up the panel, the stone chip on the underside heats up and actually kind of catches on fire. If you remember those videos from the day, we had some smoke rolling out and I had the air compressor blowing out flames on the backside. So tell you that's going to be covered in rust. I can just promise you. I'm going to go under there right now and check it, but I bet it's covered in rust where the rubber came off. It's just what it does. So we're going to scrape off as much of that under there as we can. We're going to use some of our new Fair Tan rust converter. At the end of the last video, you saw that I painted the axe that I have here in the shop for whittles, and you can, I don't know if you can see it, it's not as great a conversion as I would have thought, but this is the rusted side. You can see red. I mean, it's pretty rusty, but this is the side I coated with the rust preventative. So you can see the line there pretty easily where I did make the change. So we're gonna see. I assume this is gonna, you know, stay this way forever kind of thought, but that's the kind of stuff we're gonna put on that rust underneath. Where we're gonna be working, we're not gonna be able to get to it with a grinder, I don't think. So we'll just have to scrape it off and then just paint whatever rust is under there. And then once it's dried off in a few days or whatever it is, I'm going to go ahead and we'll recoat it. We'll get some paint on it, and then we'll put some more stone chip or bed liner or whatever we call it here in America. We'll put that under there too. So, all right, let's go under there and look and see how bad that looks and see if we can see everything. And hopefully we don't have to jack the truck up, and we can work underneath it as it is. So let's get started. Well, the first thing we can call out is just sliding under here. This is where I put my lamp. What the heck is the back of that looking like? Oh man, that's crusty. Look at that. Oh man. Yeah. All right, well, that's gonna be fun to remove. Look at that. Well, that's what rust preventative was designed for. I can tell you that for free. Oh man. Gross. Look at that pile. Good grief. Alright. Well, that's not why we're here. Or why we ought to be here.
Oh my goodness. Well, that all needs to come off. Yeah, that's gross. It's not structural. Nothing's gonna happen. That's not gonna rust through on a freaking half-inch piece of steel. But it's ugly. It's unsightly, as they might say. All right, let's get the lamp over here. Bear with me a second. All right, here's what we're talking about. You can see it from this point. There's the old stone chip. You can see it just is gonna flake right off there. It got hot. Oop, I'm not got the camera on it. There it is. There it is. You can see how tight that is to get into with my hand. So that's gonna be entertaining. That's gonna be a non-filmer, I think. But you can see the rest had already formed right there on the steel. There's our weld patch. There's our patch place. Probably need some seam seal in there too. That's gonna be entertaining to get to. All right, but that's what we're gonna start on today. That's what I'm gonna start working on right now, and I'll get going, and then we'll get that cleaned off as best we can. Another nice patch. I think you can see it right up here. You see it from there. Anyway, it's right in there. Right there. That is not going to be fun to get to. I probably should remove this. And I know that's not a fun job. That may not make it easier either. All right, well, let me get started. We'll see how far I can get on this, and we'll get started back on it. All right, more in a minute. Okay, this is a dirty job. There's a lot of oil leakage under here. I've got a lot of dirt, a lot of grease, a lot of grime, a lot of oils. I think I've seen every color oil today under here. So I got as best I could. I think those gaps you see there will need seam sealer. There's another one way up under there. You can kind of see it there in the middle where the screw's sticking, or the bolt's sticking out. Anyway, all right, the rest of it is up underneath the edge and between the frame and the body, and there's no way to get to it, so that's not going to be easy to do. Anyway, good news is it's not greasy. I'm going to go ahead and get some primer on this, and then we'll put some seam sealer in, and then we'll attempt, this is going to be the joke of the week, trying to get more stone sealer underneath there. I don't know if that's even possible with the angles. I'm going to have to work with all the pipes and the drive shaft and the best thing to do would have been to remove the exhaust on this project. I don't want to, because that's a big mess. That's a big project, and it's a lot better done with a lift. So, and I don't have one, so that's not gonna happen. All right, that's what we're at. All right, let's get some paints, and I'll try to make some paint happen. Okay, that turned out better than I thought it would. Holy Moses, that's actually pretty good. All right, let's let that dry, and then we'll try to figure out, we're gonna get our fingers in there to do seam sealer. That's gonna be entertaining. Absolutely. Oh, okay, now we're back. All right, so I went and got my plugs, the connection of plugs that I have, and I found the biggest one they've got. So we're just gonna jam that in the hole, and we'll call that sealed up.
Bummer. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to tie onto these if I want to do this today. So where's that line? Where are you, Mr. Line? All right, so we got all of this stuff that needs to be pretty much nailed down. See, and I got them up underneath here too. And those are probably too big. Yeah, this is a different type entirely. Oh, it's a little smaller though. Wonder if I could get one of those squeezed into that. Well, it kind of works. Okay, well, that kind of works. Alright, well, we can get some of this up out of the way anyway. Alright, let's get that wrapped around there, squished in there. That absolutely does not work that way. So does it go this way? It goes this way. You probably can't see this. Just realized that. Camera angle is foul. Sounds like it's not working. How does this work? Okay, and this way. That's how it goes. How am I doing this wrong? Yeah, that's not right. I guess the clicker's on the bottom or the top there. Inside, yeah, inside. We'll go with inside. Oh, there it is. I hear it. Hey, look at that. How about them apples? One down, 3,642 to go. Okay. All right, we need to put this breather up out of the way, so we're gonna put that one here. Found it. You got my head in the shot? Yeah, good job. All right. I used to go to my charcoal canister, I bet. That was probably where that one went before I removed my charcoal canister. Why did you do that? Well, it rusted out. That's pretty much why. Okay. Are there any other places we can put a thing in and pray that it holds something in place magically? I don't know. I feel like two of those in that spot might be better than one. Yeah. Yeah, I do feel like that. Alright, that's about as tight as that's going to be. Of course, it snags something underneath the truck. It's going to pull that sucker right out. Alright. I feel like that could be better located, maybe. Get it up off the frame somewhat. Let's do that. We'll put one of those in there too. Just tease it. A little bit of zip tie love. That should be a song. I need to write a song. Zip tie love. Alright, I feel much better about that. Alright. Just kind of following through, just looking through the whole area here to see if there's anything else I can zip tie up out of the way and if there's a corresponding zip tie location for it. And I don't see anything else that would benefit from that over here. Nope. Okay, I found another spot I can give some love to. Here we've got this bundle of joy. And that should be in this wall right here where I've stuffed this extra one in. So let's find a zip tie and mount that where it's supposed to be. And then we'll put another one on the other side, or we'll put one on this side to hold up these other wires here. So let's get that started. Okay. An examination here, just making sure I got everything in the bundle that needs to be in the bundle. I don't like that. Let's do another one. I don't like how that's turning out. I think I'd rather have this down in the channel where it belonged. It needed to be down in here. So the bonnet cap sits over here, the top, sits over the top of that. So I want that down and away. So that should be safe. The bonnet's over here, so that should be okay. So I want to do this, which way? This way. This way? Yeah, that way. Let's try that way. Let's see what happens. All right, feel good about that. Since this is the what else can we fix next show, so this is the tunnel for the hood release, bonnet release if you're in a different country. And you can see it is crusty. So we're going to attempt, without cutting any wires or damaging anything else, try to get some of this rust off and put some paint on it. You can see why we found it was it's not attached to anything because those caps have been failed on it. So we're going to remedy that a bit. Okay, let's do that thing. Okay, so I'm going around the vehicle looking for stuff, you know, to zip tie, and the camera shut off because of the heat and all. But anyway, I got that part done. Let's go over there and look at it. All right, so I got all that done. I put the rust preventative on it already, so it'll be taken care of. I took the liberty of adding it to a few other spots in here that are starting to surface rust. So liberally painted it, just ignored all of this rust. Don't know why, but I did. Anyway, did that. So coming around here to the other side, and I look down and I'm looking for zip tie spots, and then I spot this. Gosh, what is that? It's a mud dauber's nest. Wasps. That might be how long the truck sat at one time somewhere. It's interesting work they do. A little bit of water, a little bit of dirt. Little water, a little dirt. Little water, a little dirt. Breather holes. This one never came to fruition apparently because there's nothing busted out. So anyway, good times. What else for today? I don't know if there's anything else for today. Gotta wait for a lot of stuff to dry. The zip ties are apparently the wrong ones. I need ones that go on the end of a bolt. So I'm gonna have to resource those. That's to do this whole side underneath here. Because you saw those, they're the wrong kind, so I got the wrong kind. So good times. All right, that's about it. Pretty boring video. Not my best work, but that's okay.
And I have to admit it was not my best show, but that's okay. I have to give myself permission to do a bad show every now and then.
Affirmations by Stuart Smalley. Daily affirmations. All right, that's it. Thanks for tuning in. If you got this far, like and subscribe. I promise it gets better. That's about it. That's it. I already said that. I'm getting out. I'm out.